Go.
Hi, Lasse.
Hi, Toner.
Hello. As you know, we are just releasing a brand new killer album titled as Necrosapiens, and congratulations for that. What are you guys doing with this fresh album nowadays?
What we're doing with it? Well, we're just pushing it, selling albums as much as we can, and we're playing a live show on the 4th of March, broadcast on Danish television. Hopefully there will be some video from it where we play a track live, and we've planned to pack all the orders that we have gotten on the album. We've made it so that we pack and send all the merch nowadays. That's a lot of work.
Yes. Yeah, music business is hard sometimes,
Yeah.
especially on these pandemic times. Okay, my second question is about the people who don't know you actually. Could you introduce yourself to the guys who have no idea who you are and what you play at first?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm Lasse, and I play guitar in Baest. And Baest is, I'd say, a new wave of old school death metal. Because I think there's a new wave of old school death metal, and we bring in some new elements, but we honor the old elements too. Is the big inspiration, but it feels like it's moving nowadays. So yeah, that's probably the shortest description I can give to you.
Yeah. Okay, let's focus on your last album, Necrosapiens. What structures and tunes did you focus on while you were composing Necrosapiens?
I think that we focus on everything. It's really we spend a lot of time on every song. But I would say, we've of course spent extra time on the singles, making some music videos, and I actually say Genesis, the latest single released, was one of the songs that were under construction for a long time. We had the melodies, we had the parts, but it was like we were constantly working on new other songs, and it just, it was kind of lurking behind all that, and it didn't feel like 100%, when we were playing it. And then Moody and Sven, they just said, okay, let's finish this song now, and they just took all the parts in one sitting and put it all together, and they were like, shit, this is it, man. Now it's there. And so that got a bit of extra attention, I would say. I actually say a song that got perhaps the least attention was actually the title track, Necrosapiens. That was like, that just wrote itself.
Yeah, it's a little different, groovy, but the different elements, as you said. So yeah. Let's focus on the recording process. How was the recording process for Baest for this album?
A bit different. Obviously, Corona, lockdown, everything. So we were giving a lot of extra time to write these songs. So we used the time to write these songs, make these songs. And that extra time meant that we were super well played on these new songs. So we actually decided to record it live, which is the first time that we've done so. And it made so much sense. Now we're like, why the fuck have we never done this before? Because we always rehearse together. So we just, took our rehearsal room into a professional studio, mic'd it up, and played it until we were like, this is the take. So that's new to us. And I feel, the energy is there. There's no click tracks on this one. So it's you can feel the dynamics, when we feel the parts, it rises and falls slightly in tempo, and it's great. I think it gives it a special vibe.
Special vibe. Especially, I noticed that. Actually, Necrosapiens has a lot of crossover spirit and trashy parts. Is it something you focused on especially, or it comes out naturally from the process of your musicianship?
it kind of comes natural. Some riffs are inspired by some songs, you know, and some riffs get spawned from other riffs, you know. But I think one technique that is kind of thrash metal, to me, the Necrosapiens, the chorus, I would say, has this chord where there's open strings underneath, which is a lot of Megadeth stuff from Holy Wars. They do this E chord. That's pretty ripped from that, but I think, you know, the sound is totally different from that. But that technique is pretty, even though slow, a thrash metal guitar part. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty groovy, by the way. So do you focus on this groove parts? You know, the Denmark has a reputation about that. The bands like Concra and some other underground bands from the 90s. Have you ever influenced from them?
No, we're not as influenced from the Danish bands, actually. I think the Danish band that we've listened to the most is perhaps a band called Dawn of Demise. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah,
but they're pretty groovy.
I know,
That's a lot of groove.
Yeah, they are pretty cool.
Yeah, like this groove slam metal. But I would say it just comes natural to us, and we are inspired by bands like Pantera as well, and Metallica that really knows how to groove too. And yeah, I don't know. It's just the energy that we have. I think it just sometimes we just groove, and we have a very.
I agree about that, because you are very cool dynamics about both old school and groovy parts, and that groove parts not modern at all.
Yeah,
you know.
No.
Yeah, absolutely not, and it's true. It's truly a metal basic. So yeah. I agree about that.
Thanks.
As a magazine publisher. Okay, so let's talk about the Necrosapiens again, because it's a fresh album, and as far as I see, you have been trying hard for that, I think, in this pandemic time. So let's focus on the lyrical concept of and the philosophy behind Necrosapiens. What can you say about it?
We like to play, to write these concepts when we try to write an album. So, or at least talk about a concept. So to start with, we talked about that this album should focus on this post-apocalyptic out in space world slash society where we have where we have it's very Warhammer 40k slash George Orwell 1984 theme. But we have this master race who controls the Necrosapiens. They're like kind of bred for this slavery. And that's like that's the base, and then the songs evolve, you know, within that universe. So yeah, we have a song called Necrosapiens, of course, which is this slave race. It's like, and we have that. It has that we're in this together vibe, you know. Simon sings, "We are one, we are none," which is, it kind of reminded us of like metal fans, you know. Like that we're basically, a lot of metal fans, I believe, has felt like a nobody that listens to metal, and that unites them with somebody. So that's, we thought that was pretty strong. And then we have another one called Tsar, which is this leader of this society. And we have the Meat Hook Massacre, which is like this gladiator type that you can hire to kill everybody. And so it's you know, small stories within that concept, and really a description of this universe that we are like trying to create. Who knows if we will revisit that one on future albums. I think that it has not yet been fully explored by us.
Okay. So pretty instructive. Thank you. So How did you compose and record songs for the 2018, your debut album, Danse Macabre? Can you tell us about that period?
Come again?
Can you tell us about that period, the Danse Macabre, your 2018 album?
Yeah, just talk about the album, or some. Do you want the concept as well, or yeah? Well, the concept of Danse Macabre is really like medieval stuff. That's we also released an EP called Maria Magdalene, and I think that was the base for the first a couple of albums was like this medieval stuff. So the concept for Danse Macabre, which means dance of death, is that every human is going to die, and everybody dies on that album and is sent straight into hell. That's basically the concept.
But what things have been changed from the since 2018, the Danse Macabre and the last album,
Yeah, well, musically, I would say the first album, the debut album, you always think this is quite known knowledge. You kind of try to sound like your heroes, and I think that we did too. We wanted to sound like Bloodbath and sound like all these bands that we adore, and but also try to make it our own a little bit. But I would say that on the third album we sound more like us than ever. So that's probably the biggest difference, that we've evolved into sounding more like us. This quintet of people that just writing this music together, and and I think the recording process is now different. Back then we recorded in layers, like drums first, guitars, then bass, then vocals, and I think it's more dynamic now. It's not as what do you call that, stiff. We're not as controlled by a click track anymore, which I think is awesome. It's dynamic in another way. So yeah, a lot of things have changed and happened, but I would say that we still just want to write good death metal. That's always been the basis of us, writing good death metal songs.
Yeah, all the fans expect that, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
So how have you been contributing to the Baest? How did you start it? How did you start this band?
Yeah, it started with me and the other guitar player Sven. We met at a bar in Aarhus, where we come from. We didn't really know each other. I knew his big brother from school, and I knew he was playing guitar. He knew I play guitar, and then I came in. I had a Death T-shirt on, and we just talked about death and talked about metal, and I was like, well, I think it was like something with. I had started playing guitar again. I'd had a break at that point, and I think that we talked about. Yeah, well, do you still play? Do you play? Yeah, well, and we like death metal. Should we try? And I think the first couple of times we met up in my apartment, and we just played some death covers, but it soon became I also wrote this riff. Okay, should we play it? Yeah, sure. And then we started riffing together, in another way, and then we were like, okay, well, then I knew Matthias, our bass player from school, and Sven had played in another band with our drummer, and so we fast got this small group, and then we're like, oh, we need a singer, and Sven also worked at another bar called Escobar in Aarhus, which is the most legendary heavy metal bar there, and one night Simon was singing in the bar, growling along, and then he was just like, hey man, do you want to join our band? And then he was like, yeah, sure.
We can be around hell raising.
Yeah, He was just very good at that drunk growling, you know, just nailing those bloodbath songs, and it's like, yeah, shit.
Okay, man. Let's go back again. Years ago, probably like 10 or 15 years, I don't know. What things forced you to be a metalhead at first, and how did you start to listen to metal?
Well, actually, I don't know if you can see it, but back here, there's a Iron Maiden Brave New
Maiden, yeah.
World poster that I got off a tour that we did with Baest. It was like this small club in Belgium, and I just saw this poster, and I was like, "Can I have this poster?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure," because it's an original one from 2000, I think. It's 2000, yeah, 2000. And that was pretty much when I started listening to metal, and especially to Rock in Rio and Brave New World by Iron Maiden. And from there on, there was no going back. You know, that was.
How did you start to play underground death metal music?
Yeah, that's actually
except being a regular metalhead.
That's a good question. I think I started playing guitar when I was like 13 years old or something because of Iron Maiden and all that. And you know, you kind of evolve when you try to write riffs. First off, I was just trying to write, you know, Iron Maiden riffs, and sooner they got more thrashy, soon they got more heavy. And then it was like, at one point, to me, it was like I just almost only wrote like death metal stuff, and so it was just obvious. We there was never any like discussion in this band or anything if whether or not it should be death metal. It was the foundation of us meeting up together. So yeah, we didn't choose it; it chose us, you know.
Okay, actually, let's talk about some business. After your first days, how did you get contracts with Central Media Records?
Yeah.
It's which were pretty active and busy mainstream level, but on underground extreme metal music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we released our EP first. That was the first release that we really did, and got to play this festival in Denmark called Copenhagen. And that's big. We have some concert videos out there where we play it again in front of like 20,000 people. That was a huge success, of course. But this guy from Copenhagen, Toke, he was like, we talked with him. He was like, we are writing this album and we have it here, and he listened to it, and he was like, because we were like, we just want to release it so that we can tour, and so. But he was like, guys, hold on, just wait a bit, try and see if you can shop around with it, get some labels to be interested before you just release something. And that turned out to be a winning strategy. And then we played at this thing called Copenhagen Freezes Over, which is like this for the business concert where young bands from Denmark play. I think there's some of these fests in every country. And there, Jens Preuter, who signed us to Century Media, he was there. And Toke, which I talked about before, he was like, "You have to see these guys." And Jens was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then we were coming up, and I think that he was pretty tired at that point, Jens Preuter, and Toke just gave him a beer and said, "Listen to these guys." And then he was like just blown away. He was like, you know, we talked with him after the show, and he was like, "We're gonna present you an album deal." And then we talked with them. We went to Dortmund, where they were at that point. Now they're in Berlin. And we just agreed on everything. And yeah, that was it. So a good advice is hold your horses and and just, you know, see if you can get it out there to some important people.
Yes. So Dealing with the music business is sometimes amazing, as you know.
Yeah,
Yes,
sometimes hard.
sometimes hard. Okay, so you have been pretty active in Danish and European metal music scenes since 2018, actually, because
Yeah,
first time I contact with your band at that time.
yeah.
So what are the reactions now after all 5 years, actually, with this period from the beginning to the end? And especially, do you see any reactions from the other parts of the world? You know, the Asia, United States, Canada.
Yeah, we are like a Danish band, first of all. Our strategy has been like, if conquer Denmark, then see about the rest. And I think that we quickly did. And of course, we signed to a German label, and so it just, you know, we've been on a curve going up. And actually, this album was Necrosapiens. There was an Asian label that was like, we want to buy or print your vinyls for Asian markets, and we were like, shit, nice. So I think it's a Hong Kong label or something, and so that's the first real touch with Asia, I think. There's been some Japanese guys sometimes commenting, but it's not been something that, you know, that we've gotten a lot of reactions from Asia. But America, I think, has been, they're so fond of death metal in America. You can't not be seen over there. It's like, and it's going places. I think that we're growing over there. We can see it on our what's it called, streams, and also our sales, that we are shipping a lot of things to America, and that's just amazing, you know.
Yeah, probably after the pandemic, there will be huge tours, and probably you will take one.
We hope so. That's what we're building to. You know, you have to build up to America when you're from Europe. You just can't. Well, you can go over there and just take a chance, but you'll probably come home poor and sorry, perhaps.
Okay, man. So you know, all we are metalheads, mostly death metal maniacs. You know, actually, I personally listen to every kind of music in metal, but I'm obsessed with the death metal. Okay, to be honest. So, what are your favorite releases around nowadays, or the past, from past to the present? Can you name some favorite releases, especially from this year and the past?
I really dig Skeletal Remains. To me, they're very, very good. And I would say just every of the release I've listened a lot to. So yeah, it's just got that vibe. It's a good question. You know, we're so lucky that there's so many good old albums that you can dig into.
Shitload of music.
I think I've listened a lot to Hate Eternal too. I think the last one they released, what's it called? Violent Fury. I can't remember the but yeah, Hate Eternal. Really awesome. But you know, there's a lot of good stuff. I'm even on a Abad shirt here. I really like the first album Abad made. It's just fucking awesome to me. We listen to a lot of stuff, actually. So yeah, it's you know, it's periods where you go into the. I've just recently had Annihilation of the Wicked period. It's just a massive album.
Goes on, shitload of bands and
really
cool releases, especially in the last 10 years. Underground is really strong. Extreminal is really strong again, like 90s. I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, it's good. You know, I could of course mention like Gatecreeper and power trip and all that American wave stuff. It's good.
Okay, one last question. You know, we are Danish, and actually we like Danish beer here. So what is your favorite beverage from Denmark?
Oh, that's a good question. We have a lot of special beer breweries these days. We have a local one called Æbeltoft Gårdbryggeri. You probably don't know it, but it's premium beer. We drink a lot of Ceres, Royal. Perhaps you know that one, Royal.
No.
Nope. Okay, that's a pretty common beer in Denmark, from Aarhus originally. So yeah, but we actually have made our own beers as well with a small special brewery place. I have some cans over here as well. You can't see them, but yeah. So we like beer.
Yeah.
We like Turkish beer
like
as well.
too. Okay, man. Actually, I don't want to hold you anymore here. So thanks a lot for this good conversation. In the end, what would you like to tell to the death metal maniacs out there?
Just keep on supporting, man. Yo, it's so important to us. And write all comments in the world. Write us. You know, we love it. We want to interact with every death metal maniac out there.
Okay, yeah, keep on extreme, man. Thanks again. So see you later. I hope this pandemic is over and we will see you on the road again.
Yeah, we will. Cheers, man.
Yes. Bye-bye.